I have found one common difference between my weight loss clients who struggle versus those who don't. This one thing kills your progress on 4 different levels: your actions, your expectations, your emotions, and your beliefs. Yet bizarrely, actions is the only level talked about, which means you may be guilty of this at the other 3 levels and not even know it, leading to failure after failure. This one thing is an all or nothing mindset. Let's start by tackling it at the first level, which is actions. Here's a common scenario. Say you meet a friend for lunch and decide to order salad because you're losing weight. You finish the salad, yet the conversation keeps going. So you reach for some of the bread on the table, and before you know it, you've eaten all of the bread. You're upset about eating the bread against your plans and feel since you have already failed, you might as well eat whatever you want for the rest of the day. Why does this happen? The analogy in your mind for meeting your nutrition goals is similar to how the lottery works. Like, it doesn't really matter if your lottery ticket was just 1 digit different from the winning number. The result is exactly the same as having all the digits different from the winning lottery number. You didn't win. It's all or nothing. But the correct analogy for weight loss is more like money in the bank. Like, if you overspent by $100, you're not going to think, oh well, might as well drain my bank account. That would be ridiculous. The same goes for meeting your nutrition goals. Just because you overspent at lunch doesn't mean you want to overspend the rest of the day. You want to work on changing your mental model to one which isn't pass or fail. This could be money in the bank analogy, or it could be voting for 2 different paths. One path is where you continue with your old habits, and the second path is where you're developing the new habits. And each vote is an action you take toward a path. So as long as the number of votes in your desired path is more than the votes in the current path over a week, you're doing great. And as long as the number of such weeks is greater than the alternative weeks, you're going to get to your goal. Now, let's say you succeeded at making this mental model shift, but you step onto the scale and find your weight is up despite doing everything right. This really upsets you. And so you veer off course because surely your hard work didn't matter. This is yet again an all or nothing mindset. In your mind, either your hard work pays off immediately or it was all a waste. There is no middle ground. Why does this happen? 1, your mental model of how your body works is faulty. You think your body behaves like a car. The harder you press the gas, the faster it goes. But as you're seeing proof, that's false. Your body is more like pottery. If you press too hard, it gets misshapen. You need to apply just the right pressure from different directions until you get the shape you want. You need to switch your mental model to that of a pottery maker, one of patience, experimentation, and learning. For example, here's Sarah's progress, a weight loss client of ours. For every 3 weeks of progress, she sees 3 weeks of weight gain. But as you can see, she's making progress overall. So maybe a week is too soon to judge and you need to give it another week. Or as we did with Sarah, maybe you need to look at other factors like the quality of your food, or maybe you're in too deep of a calorie deficit. We have a bunch of videos about troubleshooting your progress here, but the big picture shift is from an all or nothing mindset to one of curiosity and experimentation. Because if you quit after seeing your weight go up, you lose the opportunity to learn, which means you keep repeating the same mistakes over and over again. Okay, so let's say you're a curious experimenter, but then situations arise you can't face. Like, a month goes by and you're doing great until you are hit with a serious craving for chocolate. You hold it off as much as possible until you can't take it anymore and end up eating all the chocolate in your pantry. What just happened? Think back to your past. There was a time when you felt an unwanted emotion like boredom, stress, frustration, helplessness. You went and ate some food and you felt better. Your mind created an association that whenever you feel that unwanted emotion again, the solution is to eat. And so every time you felt the emotion and ate and felt better, this association got stronger and stronger until you're at today's situation where, without even explicitly knowing what you're feeling, you get cravings and automatically, mindlessly, you reach for food. The obvious answer is to address this at the actions level by introducing craving speed bumps, like drinking water in between bites to slow you down so you don't eat it all, and so on. But you must have observed that doing this doesn't reduce the frequency or intensity of your cravings in the future. Why is this? It's because your action level solution must work with the emotion level solution. That is, you must address the unwanted emotion which triggered the craving in the first place. Only by addressing the root emotion can you start reducing the frequency and intensity of your cravings. But an all or nothing mindset about your emotions can stop you from doing this. If you are someone who categorizes emotions as good or bad, then of course your reaction to feeling any bad emotion like anger and shame is to suppress it. But this doesn't solve anything, so you keep reaching for food to numb yourself. This is why inside our weight loss program, Badass Body Boss, we teach you how to deal with emotions without judgment. To begin with, when you're applying craving speed bumps, instead of, say, only drinking water, also journal exactly what's the dialogue playing in your mind. Awareness is the first step. And later, as you get comfortable with your awareness and start seeing patterns, start start drawing a plan for what to do the next time the emotion arises. And finally, banishing all or nothing thinking from these 3 levels long term isn't possible if you haven't addressed your beliefs. At the actions level, I mentioned how switching your mental model away from pass and fail can be hard. This will happen if deep down you're proud of being a perfectionist. If you take a lot of pride in always meeting your goals perfectly, then why would you switch to a mental model that feels imperfect? If this is you, you need to first address how being a perfectionist serves you. Is it because you finally feel you're good enough when you're perfect and otherwise you're not worthwhile? If you answered yes, then dig into why you feel not good enough when you aren't perfect. Are there people you admire who aren't perfect? Without addressing your pride in being a perfectionist, you'll find it very hard to switch to a more nuanced mental model long term. At the expectations level, I mentioned how seeing undesired scale changes as learning moments can be hard due to psychological reasons. This frequently happens if deep down you believe that you will never succeed no matter what, or you don't deserve to succeed. If you believe any of this, then the second you see no progress, in your mind, your limiting belief has been confirmed, and there's no point learning anymore. If this is you, addressing why you believe you will never succeed is really important so you can last the normal ups and downs of weight loss. In fact, I made this whole video about all the common self-sabotage behaviors I see among my clients. Without stopping self-sabotage, there is no hope of succeeding at weight loss long term, so check it out. And if you want my help losing weight, check out the sneak peek into my Badass Body Loss program in the description and comments below. And always remember, you can do it.